Welcome to Happily Ever Aftermath.
The podcast where we discuss relationships in movies and our relationships with them.
I'm Polina Grunbaum.
And I'm Diana Rojek-Sconard. Hey.
Hello.
We are back.
We are.
Because that's what we do.
We'll come back.
And welcome back.
Every other week. We just come back.
Yeah.
It's like clockwork.
It's really early, so apologies for this really clunky beginning.
Yeah.
All right, let's just get to it then.
I know. Let's jump in. I think it's the only way. It's like, let's not dip our toe in the water. Let's just jump right in.
I was going to, but then you kept talking.
What'd you expect?
We're talking about Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
1991.
And I have Best Buy's bargain bin to thank for that spark of inspiration, which wholeheartedly insulted me, but I found it. I realized this one. We're talking this one. And rewatching it was interesting.
I cannot wait to hear.
Well, okay, so plot-wise, thank you, Wikipedia, for this. The plot focuses on 17-year-old Sue Ellen Crandall, Christina Applegate, whose mother leaves for a 2-month summer vacation in Australia, putting all 5 siblings in the care of an evil, tyrannical, elderly babysitter, the titular babysitter. When the babysitter suddenly dies in her sleep, right in the title, Sue Ellen assumes...
So that was not a spoiler.
Sue Ellen assumes the role of head of household to prevent her mother from returning home early. She fakes a resume to get a job in the fashion industry, but proves capable and lucky enough to succeed.
It's nice to see someone succeeding.
Well, in the movies, they usually do. I mean, how many times do you see people falling flat on their face, like just all the time?
Maybe I just watched the wrong movie.
Oh, wait, documentaries.
Yeah, I watch a lot of documentaries. Anyway...
Yeah.
So you saw this movie. How did you watch this movie?
Okay,
what was your intro?
Okay, so it's 1991.
Yes.
Really quick. It's got 33% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my god.
Did you not see that before?
No, I did not. I just decided not to know.
Yeah.
I was gonna have to watch it anyway.
Well, that's an interesting point.
I didn't want anything prejudicing me.
Oh, that's the title. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Didn't kind of give you a hint.
I figured that was enough, and so I needed to get as little information as possible about this movie.
Well, let me point this out. You mean to tell me that 55-year-old male critics had a problem with this Christina Applegate-led fun summer situation, as you would call it, romp?
I was going to say, does this technically qualify as a romp?
Well, you tell me, because you called the other things a romp, and I'm like, what the...
This is maybe an actual romp. This is more of a romp.
Here's the deal. 1991, I was doing the math, holy crap.
I know exactly what happened to me in 1991.
Everyone's looking at me, 8 years old.
Oh.
But I didn't see this when it came out. This was TBS got the rights to put this on repeat after school. And so...
I was going to say either summer vacation or school.
Well, what's kind of strange is this was definitely the saw it edited on television version.
Oh. So this is the first time you've seen the whole thing?
I think I may have done the Blockbuster rental and just kind of like... burned into my brain the edited versions.
Yep.
Which is even funnier because watching this movie, I'm like making notes. I'm like, why are they saying one word and then another word is that? I'm like, oh, I got $10 that says they were toning it down from going from R to PG-13. I was thinking, is this originally a PG-13? There's pot everywhere.
Oh my God, yes.
And definitely didn't see that
in 1991.
Well, no, it's 2018 now, and there's pot everywhere.
Yeah, that's what
California.
I mean. But like, it's still it's shocking how much pot there is in this movie, and it takes place in the 90s.
Well, I think they're trying to really highlight how horrible these children are.
Out of control.
For when they make their big transformation. Although I do maintain that teenage brains should probably be really mindful of drug use because you're still developing.
Yes, but that is one of the few things they've been able to really figure out about pot, because obviously it's been very difficult to study, is that the under 21, it definitely has a much bigger effect on your developing brain.
It's very easy for me to make these opinions because I'm not a mother. I have all of these judgments, and you should listen to me as a not mother. of what children should be doing.
I am not a mother either.
I'm going to say absolutely, and I think everyone will get on board with this. Not one child should play in front of my car while it's in motion.
And nobody should get on a roof. No children should get on a roof.
Oh.
No child should be on a roof.
No child should be on a roof.
Fixing an antenna. That is not for children. That is for professionals.
Well, the TV wouldn't work, so I feel this child's pain.
I feel the child's pain too.
Poor kid.
Oh, that was so painful.
Poor kid, I can't remember his... Walter. That kid was Walter. I thought the dog's name was Walter. The dog's name was Elvis. That's the other thing that got to me. I love this. These are the things that are sticking up in my brain. Why would you smoke around the dog? That made me so scared. I don't know what the studies are, but they're just like, oh my God, the dog's going to get so high. I'm like, I'm going to stab all of you in the face right now. I don't
know. That literally has never occurred to me. I do not know what effects, if any, that secondhand pot smoke.
I don't know what it means.
Would have, and I don't even know how I think I used to see him smoke a joint. I don't know if he had a bong, in which case there'd be less smoke.
I don't think I was watching it directly.
Oh God, why did you give me this problem? Now I can't stop thinking about it.
Whether or not you should smoke around a dog?
Yes. I mean, I would assume no, but I just want to know. I see people smoking around their dogs.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway,
the whole point, that dog was a great actor.
The dog was kind of my favorite.
I love there's so much child neglect, and these children have probably committed some sort of felony. And I'm
she goes off to Australia for 3 months, doesn't introduce them to the babysitter. I realize, okay, this is why.
Oh, wow.
This is why I have a hard time with a romp.
I was talking about the kids, not the mom.
Well, no, there's so much child neglect even before she leaves them for 3 months.
Polina, those kids were out of control.
Maybe. No, but perhaps she could have kept them in line.
No, I just keep underlining.
So much judgment.
No. Well,
okay.
I don't have my air quotes voice on right now.
Oh, okay.
I gotta get you know how we need a sarcastic font?
Yes, you need a sarcastic voice. Yeah.
Okay, so wow, the actual plot. Christina Applegate, fantastic. Yes. I really like her. She's, she can't wait to. Oh my God, the whole not problems. You guys are going off to Europe, and I'm going to be home all by myself.
In Los Angeles.
My God, the house was huge.
Oh, Lord,
there was no traffic, but there was trying to say when she was working there was traffic. I'm like, where are you?
Where does she live? It's
this
kind
house
of freaking me out. It's got all of the space around it, and you don't see another house.
Yeah.
So I don't know which part of Los Angeles they live in. Granted, it's not I know Los Angeles that well, but I can't even imagine.
Well, just California in general. You have to be center California, or really borderline Nevada to get to a place where you can have a house that big where you can throw dishes up and shoot them and you're not freaking out your neighbors.
Yeah.
Dishes are done, man. See there. The classic line. So it has a cult following now.
Yes.
And so the dishes are done, man, and all this other stuff.
Yeah, there's some great lines.
Keith Coogan, you're fantastic.
I actually, that surprised me. I was like, oh, Christina Applegate. I just remember. So I never saw this movie.
Okay.
Ever.
Yeah.
It did not fall on my radar. And because in 1991, I was not 8. 1991 is the year I graduated from high school.
So you yourself were also looking forward to the summer.
Yes, I was looking forward to the summer of
figuring out what to do.
Yes.
If you hadn't already.
Oh, yeah. No, I knew.
You knew?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what to do that summer. I mean, I had a job.
That's why these children are horrible, Polina.
Because they don't have
they didn't know what they were going to do.
They didn't know what they were going to do come fall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Underline.
Yeah, there's no way that my mother would have not made me register. No, I had I think I even, at some point I had a roommate assigned. I had all those things. Yeah. It was my last summer of freedom.
I wouldn't think so. I had a few summers that were pretty nice in college.
Yeah, I did too.
So,
no. Anyway, that's another story for another time. So yeah, this was one of those movies that I would have rolled my eyes at the time, but
don't blame
I've
you. Forgotten
how charming Christina Applegate can be. I just found her delightful.
She doesn't get that much love. It's just, I wonder if people snapped on her persona from Married with Children.
Yes.
And assumed that that's who she was.
Yeah, I think so.
I can see that. So loved that show though.
Married with Children?
I did.
I did enjoy that.
I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was younger, and until I got older, and I was too old for my parents to go like, you can't do that. I'm like, I'm old. You can't tell me.
My parents had such issues with that show.
My parents probably still have issues with that show. If I were to ask them, I bet you they might have enjoyed parts of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were just like, I can't even watch this. It's just gross.
Well, lots of it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm watching this. It's edited on television, so it's probably not as bad as it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that it converged my Dead Poet Society crush on Josh Charles.
Oh.
Did I picked, so in Dead Poet Society,
Mm-hmm.
it was Josh Charles and it's Robert Sean Leonard. But Robert Sean Leonard was a little bit higher up.
Okay.
And so Josh Charles was in more things.
Yes.
So I'm like, ooh, here he is. And he also is pining for a girl and yay and all this other stuff. And this one, looking back on it, this one's a lot sweeter, than, Dead Poet Society is about something else entirely. Whereas this one, this is like junior executive working girl, this movie.
Yes. Oh God, that's so funny. That is exactly what I thought excuse me. That is exactly what I thought. I was like, this is just like Working Girl.
Yeah.
Except that she is a junior executive.
Right.
It's like the high school version of Working Girl. It's funny that you mentioned that about Josh Charles, because when I saw this, I was like, I'm kind of I know Josh. I only was really aware of Josh Charles later.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, that's Josh Charles.
Mm-hmm.
He was not on my radar at all at this time.
He was on my radar early because I would also see him in Hairspray. I'm like, he's there with like no lines. You go, Josh
Wow.
Charles.
I don't even remember him in Dead Poet Society. That is how off my radar he was.
It's not Silver Street.
I know, but I was so obsessed with Ethan Hawke.
He sexually assaults that girl. We know that now because back then it was romantic.
Yeah.
But now
God,
it's like, ew. Kind of afraid to watch it again.
I'm totally afraid to watch it now. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, I mean, we'll
get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah. It's a Newsies of sorts.
It's true.
Hey, there's a girl there over there in the movie.
That's so funny because
counts.
I actually wanted to put it. I was thinking about it, and then because I have like a whole relationship with that movie.
Yeah, me too.
But I was like, oh, it's not romantic enough. We'll have to do it. Okay.
Tell that to Jen and
yeah.
Christian Bale and the.
That's true. That's true. Jen definitely moved the needle a little bit.
The Newsies needle.
The Newsies needle.
It opens up possibilities for us.
So we'll thread that.
But no, it's just it happened again. Like with Working Girl, I'm like, I love this movie and it's so sweet with the relationship, and then I'm watching it, I'm just like, he's not in this movie very much. And I think that also might have been part of it, though, because she's working hard to get what she's trying to accomplish done. Like in Working Girl, it was she's trying to move up the career ladder. And in here, she's trying to make sure her family doesn't starve, which another observation that I had, she's like, one of us is going to have to get a job. And I'm like, why don't you both get jobs?
I know. That made no sense to me. That bothered me because I watched most of it again the second time.
Right.
I was clearly so engrossed. I didn't even hear the doorbell when you came over. But when I watched it the second time, I'm like, I thought I could get over that, but I couldn't.
As I said it, what popped into my head, I'm just like, oh, that's right. Someone has to stay and watch the kids.
Of course. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
So what's kind of interesting is
they
that
seem old enough to watch themselves. But then again, the roof thing happens. So.
Yeah. Okay. So Sue Ellen fakes a resume. She gets into this job at a fashion place, but it's like they make the industrial uniforms for schools, so it's like the bottom of the barrel of the fashion industry. She runs into the angry, want revenge. So it's like a weird Sigourney Weaver character in The Receptionist, who I actually have some legitimate beefs with Christina Applegate. I mean, there is the whole thing with some, you are promised a job and then somebody swoops in and takes it from you. I don't have that, but I understand.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But it's so over the top with how nasty she is. She's just like, yeah, go suck it. You suck.
Yeah, I mean,
she's terrible.
The thing is, she's horrible. I mean, I just, like, to me, one of the one of the many things you kind of have to suspend a disbelief about is you have to is the fact that she is a terrible receptionist. Like, she's not just mean to the people inside the company.
Yeah.
She's mean to the people calling the company, which is, I would think, would just make you kind of a non-starter as a receptionist. Like, why would she be promised that role
when
she can't even do this?
Well, and it's very clear that the other receptionist, or not the receptionist, excuse me, the other executive assistant, Kimmy, she's like, I put my resume in, but I, it was
that one made me much sadder.
Well, she's very good. The girl who's doing the QED reports, which I actually checked to see if that was a real thing.
Is it a real thing?
Okay, well, there's some QED like somethings out there.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if it's because they mentioned when she first when Sue Ellen comes in there, she's like, there's your computer, there's your this, there's your Lotus. And
it was like Lotus and WordStar. And I was like, that actually was pretty accurate at the time.
Well, I was looking at that and I'm just like, I know that name, but it was actually right before my time, I assume.
Yeah. I wrote a lot of my college and high school papers on WordStar.
Nice.
I remember it well.
Mine was WordPerfect.
Yes.
So
that was the second one,
which is really interesting.
We transitioned to WordPerfect. It was a good time.
Wow. Okay. So
God, I've used a lot of document editing programs.
Notepad. That's what I used, and it didn't check my spelling.
No.
Okay. So these characters. I mean, my first thought is Rose just magically had this person hired. Like you are, you're a Vassar girl. Come be my assistant. I can't stand this person. I'm just like, who above the world is putting Carolyn up to where she's Rose's assistant? That Rose is just like, no, I don't want this, but it's happening anyways. So I couldn't figure out.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, she's an executive. She gets to hire who she wants, right?
Except for something, forcing this person into her face.
Yeah, but ultimately... Well,
that's what she pulled rank. Why couldn't she pull rank when it first came up?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's actually,
it could have been that she just was like, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't want to think this through too much. Regardless, Rose gets the job, but she has no qualifications. None. Except that she likes fashion.
You mean Sue Ellen? You called her Rose.
Sorry. Oh my God. Yes, I did.
No, it's cool. I'm actually pausing and making sure because I received a little bit of feedback about our last episode of like, you got to stop switching the names between the actor name and the character name.
Okay, we're going to commit and we're going to let's do the character name.
I'm not committing. I'm just going to try harder.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
I never know.
Yeah. I'm trying. I'll commit to trying. Yep. I have a little bit of sympathy for Carolyn if she wasn't just so over the top nasty. Because I had that monologue in my head of just like, executive assistant can't use a fax machine, huh? I actually had a coworker recently just kind of, bouncing back and forth with me talking about like, really? Like they can't, sure, they can, do this and do that and they get paid 6 figures, but they can't, merge a document so they can make this, that, and the other. And I'm like, dude, we're hired to do these things. So let's just get it together.
Just get it done.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just have to... You need somebody so that you can do more strategic things. You need someone to merge the document.
It's fine. The only thing that comes into play is when they have suggestions on how it should be done because it wasn't done the way they wanted, even though I asked them how they want it done. Oh, whatever you think is best. And then I bring it to them and then it becomes you know what? Like, no, you know what? Needed to come when I asked you, do you want this a certain way?
How do you want this? Yeah.
Yep. And some people, I don't even take them at their face value when they say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Never mind.
When I had clients, that was the whole thing. They're like, no, design however you want. And I'm like,
no, not when
that's
when
not
it's,
actually.
When it's creative or when it's aesthetics, I always say, no, tell me exactly what you want. When it's function, I'm on it. I'm right on top of that, Rose, which is apparently a GIF that I will be using. Yeah, which is really cool. I'm very curious. I mean, you listeners out there, let me know what your reaction is to this movie because, not very well received and,
But it is a class. So, like, as you were saying, this cult following, like, when you said the name of the movie, this is a summer I did not spend watching a lot of movies. Or I don't even know if it came out in the summer, but let's assume it did.
Did it magically show up in the back of your brain?
Yeah, when you said it, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a Christina Applegate movie." Like, which I was like, "Where does that come from?"
Well, here's
it's like, you know, when you don't hear a song for years, you don't ever remember liking it. It comes on, you realize you know all the words.
Oh yeah,
It was that kind of moment where you're like, "How did this happen?
well,
How did I acquire this knowledge?"
Well, I have a small theory, and I'm about to test it on you right now.
Test it.
If I were to say, have you ever heard of the movie Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood? There is nothing appearing on her face right now.
No.
Okay.
No.
So the reason I ask is
I mean, I know what all of those are referenced to, and so
Sure.
I'm going to assume I can figure out the genre.
well, yeah, spoof.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because certain titles just like are so, bam, in your face. Like, okay, fine. I know what you did last summer.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah,
sparks
that's much
things.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I went for an absolutely obscure thing that I wanted the chance to say that title because I thought it would be funny. I don't know. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe, but I think more that this is a movie that people either probably was on TV a lot or people mention a lot.
I will vouch that it was on TV a lot.
Yes, well, that's when you said that, I was like, oh, I wonder if it's that. I wonder if it was just me just coming home from work or whatever. And
You know what was freaking me out though is that watching Josh Charles be that young.
yes,
And I'm like, I can't
the
watch
nose,
this right now.
the nose. There's so much nose.
I like the
which I
nose.
love noses. So I'm just happy. But it was like seeing his young face. His face has really changed.
His face has changed, and it's
He's grown into the nose.
no, not even that. It's just he's so good looking.
Yeah, he is.
And again, it's one of those double standard things that I hate. Men get older, they get better looking, and women get older and they get older.
I want to say Christina Applegate still looks really, really, really good.
Right. In fact,
She's a beautiful woman.
It's really difficult to tell how old people are sometimes.
Yeah.
With the modifications of like, oh, they're 47. I'm like, yeah, but they're a fantastic 47.
Yeah, I could do that.
It's just
at
like
47.
good for them.
Yeah, I'm like,
I want to look that good when I'm 37.
Yeah. Christina Applegate's one of those people. Regardless, so you watched this. So what was it? You obviously, you were saying Josh Charles already had your connection with him, but what else was it about this movie that kind of captured your imagination or made you think about?
I love growth montages. She was doing the whole trying to get the clothes together thing.
Yeah.
But no, watching her, try so hard and watching everybody screw up and do the bad things. And then it's just like, guys, we got to get it together. This is, I don't like the whole, I'm about to tell you the lie that I've been holding from you. And it's actually kind of nice to see it from employee to boss situation and not the guy to girl, even though she did have the whole guy to girl situation, just like because his sister actually is Carolyn,
the horrible receptionist.
Brian, Josh Charles' character Brian is the younger brother of Carolyn, and he's hearing about this nasty person who took the job, and of course it's extra, when it's told from certain perspectives it's going to be horrible, and she's just like, how do we know she's not a really nice person, because Sue Ellen is trying to defend her, and that's the secret she's keeping from him. But bigger on the line stuff for her, especially when she's trying to feed her siblings, is Rose, I have something that I need to tell you. And then, they decide to, the company's about to shut down. And this is the whole suspension of disbelief thing. The company's about to shut down. She's an executive assistant, but magically it's just like, no, I'm going to design some things, these new fantastic school uniforms, because they lose a big account because the students are revolting that they don't want to wear uniforms.
So I was expecting to see school uniforms at the fashion show. But there was not school uniforms. There were other kinds of uniforms.
I think the whole idea is her fun idea is that these are uniforms, but these are fun versions of other uniforms that the kids can decide how they want to do them. So that way they can express how they want to dress while at the same time falling in line with making sure that it's a uniform. And I have a problem with that because, first of all, those were not good looking clothes. Second, you're not putting me in tights if I don't want to be wearing tights.
And there was one of them was like a skin tight nurse's uniform.
Please don't put these children in fun and frisky and sexy.
Also,
uniforms.
just generally like the nurses.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
And her stethoscope necklace.
Oh yeah.
We need to question though.
Yeah.
Is that like optional? So
A
like
stethoscope?
No. The
accessories.
No, the
medical accessories.
So the uniforms, it's just like here's pants and here's a skirt.
Mm-hmm.
But and also she only focused on the female, so like I guess.
But that's because her friends. I went with.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I dealt with this in my head.
Right.
Is her friends just came back from Europe.
Yeah.
And so she only could get them as models, and they're all female.
Well, no, I'm fine with that. It's just the fact that she didn't design anything for
No.
the boys' uniforms, because I guess the boys don't care. I don't know. Those colors were so neon.
They're so neon.
They're so neon. Okay, I'm sorry. Plot-wise, if you haven't seen the movie, so she comes up with these ideas, and as they're going along, she's stealing from the petty cash because she needs to feed people, and it doesn't go very well because she thinks she could just pay it back. She's going to be making a cool $37,500 a year. Yeah, that's so amazing. And
You got to remember though, she's not paying rent.
1990s money.
1990s money.
But she doesn't understand that taxes need to be taken out.
And why did she sign up for the pension plan?
I was wondering about that myself.
The pension and savings plan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to assume that was kind of a joke. Like, they needed to raise the stakes at that point.
Probably.
Because then she'd just be like, I'm out.
Also, as somebody who used to work in pension consulting, I have to chime in here.
Yes, please.
When did 401ks come into fashion? Because you need to opt in for that. If it's pensions and savings, if it's actual pension and not a deferred contribution plan, you have to opt in for that. But if it's just pension, then it's just an employer contribution unless a match comes into play.
So I remember I remember people talking about 401ks like when I had to start thinking about going to work. And so that was the mid 90s.
Save for your retirement.
Yes.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Don't actually listen to this 401. Actually listen to your boss when they start talking to you about 401ks.
My boss doesn't talk to me about 401ks.
Okay, whatever, HR. So clearly, I worked at a lot of startups. And so there was that. Okay.
Yes, but no, the medical benefits did come into play when her youngest brother fell off the roof.
Thank God for the medical benefits.
That's a good thing, though. So, okay.
Go Obama.
So in the end, it all culminates in this fashion show to help bring the buyers in. Her and Brian have been having fights because it's just like, why are you keeping secrets from me? He's just a little teensy weensy bit jealous. Paranoid, I suppose.
Well, they just started. It's all very tender and early.
I think it runs in the family because Carolyn is just like, who's this person? You know, not doing this, that, and the other. And I bet you she's this, that. And she's researching.
So they have
her
a jealousy
backwards.
gene.
The
family has a jealousy gene.
Researching her background because she's that angry about it. I mean, I
Yeah.
get angry about things, but I also
I don't think I'd go that far.
I don't make them crash and burn.
Yeah.
I may snicker if something happens.
You may be delighted.
But at the same time, we're
maybe some schadenfreude.
well, you know what? That doesn't happen. Okay, fine. I'm speaking of my teenage self, or my mid-20s self.
Well, this is who we want to talk about right now.
Well, when I was young and bitter about how I'm so damn smart, why aren't I making more money? That's just I still have like pieces of that.
I think, yeah.
But that's just when all I was doing was working and only giving a crap about work and you know how much I make equal how much I am valued. Therefore, you know, work is all I do. But now that I'm doing other things and I have a hobby now.
So it's changed your perspective. So that's the other lesson that we'd like to give during this podcast,
Have
which
a
is
well-rounded life.
Have a well-rounded life. You will be much less bitter.
Yes.
And also, I mean, maybe part of the problem is her diet is terrible. I mean, she's eating
Mama Celeste pizza.
She's eating Mama Celeste pizza, but also all of those chili dogs.
Oh, the clown dog.
Clown dogs.
I remember that.
I really enjoy a good chili dog, but that movie kind of ruined them for me.
I do have really specific memories of Brian and her just getting to know each other and him doing the little hockey thing with the hamburger bun. I
can't tell if she saw it.
I don't think so, but at the same time, he's just being really nice. And again, he's just like I'm guessing he's 21 and she's 17 because he asked her, hey, do you want to go to this thing? She's like, can't. I'm not old enough, which kind of implies that, because she's like drinking. I can't.
Well, no, because both of them are going to college the next year. I think they're exactly the same age.
I don't think
they had that whole conversation under the pier where they played a terrible version of Under the Boardwalk, which is one of my, not Under the Boardwalk, but I Only Have Eyes for You, which is one of my favorite songs.
Oh, I was about to say Under the Boardwalk. I missed that entirely. Also,
but they
that's
were,
too on the nose.
Yeah, they were under a boardwalk, and they were, and he was talking about how he just basically realized that he thought his parents had a college fund for him, but turns out they don't, which is why he's saving up for school anyway, and why he's been, so maybe he's a year older, because he's been at Clown Dog for 9 months.
Okay, but here's my, you could be right. Okay. The only reason I think that I did is that why would he invite her to somewhere where there'd be drinking?
I don't remember this.
I do.
Okay, so where did he invite
She's
her?
like, something where she's like, I can't, they're gonna card me. But then again, that could have been I'm under 18, they're gonna card me. I swear it was alcohol related.
Okay,
but the carding thing could have been I'm 18, which is a lot better because if he's like 19 and she's like 17, that's better.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So it's okay. So here's the deal. This is what's really, really fun. So I'm a sucker for the getting it together montage, be it fashion, although those I don't like as much. I like, Rocky IV, the training montages.
I love a training montage.
I love training montages. I like the montage of fixing the house in Revenge of the Nerds. I like we're cleaning up the house for this thing tonight.
They had a house cleaning montage. You actually got some montages in. There wasn't a bunch of training montages. There was a work montages.
No. I like the music while people are
yeah.
Well, I mean,
satisfying.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just like it's things that are painful, and you watch people do them quickly. It's very nice.
I'm going to save the listeners of quoting the lyrics from the song "Montage" by Team America World Police, but it's exactly what I love about montages.
I know, it's such a perfect moment.
Yeah,
such a perfect film moment.
Yeah. So okay, they get it all together. Her mom comes home early because they don't want to tell anyone that the babysitter's dead, so they do that. She's busted. She makes a huge confession in front of everybody, and I was thinking there's no reason to confess in front of everybody. Just like finish up the presentation and be done.
That made no sense.
I'm wondering if she jumped the gun because her mom was there, that if she just continued the presentation to her mother would be like she would come to the stage. But it's still just like, no, what awkward moment. Let's just.
I think the awkward moment came when Brian.
Oh, of course.
When Brian came and started talking over a loudspeaker, not real, like, and this whole like big, get down on your knees and beg forgiveness moment over a loudspeaker while she was trying to.
Clearly there's a party going on before. He's like, are you guys having a party?
Yeah.
Like, yes.
I think that, so my theory is what that did is it just popped her balloon of kind of being together and competent. Like suddenly she remembered that she was just a teenager.
Could be. Oh, that's right. I think that's why the whole like I can't handle this right now. And I think it's really good. All right, so going back to me in this movie, and it was all coming flooding back to me.
Yeah.
Especially it's weird because all of them are so damn young, and it's just now I'm older. So here's the deal. I remember the crush on Josh Charles that had transcended into I started watching Sports Night for him.
Yes. I loved Sports Night so much.
I watched the movie SWAT because he was in it. That's right.
Wow, I had no idea. This thing with Josh Charles and you.
And I'm very happy about it because that movie I consider to be Jeremy Renner. It's like, oh yeah, cool, he's working again. Because I would see Jeremy Renner in the movie National Lampoon's Senior Trip. It's a horrible movie.
Oh my God, I've never seen that.
It is a horrible movie, but I'm just and Jeremy Renner has really long hair in it, and he's a screw up, and I'm just like, oh. Well, I'm watching this movie because I'm watching this movie. And I watched it a lot. And then he's in SWAT.
Wait.
Jeremy Renner. Yeah.
You watched National Lampoon's what is it?
National Lampoon Senior Trip.
Senior Trip.
Yep.
What happens in National Lampoon Senior Trip?
It's a very complex plot where...
Are they older? Are they seniors in college or high school? Or are they senior citizens?
No. They're seniors in high school.
Okay. All right, that's all I need to know.
Okay.
I just didn't know. I needed a picture.
Did you have a senior trip?
No,
Oh, okay.
I don't think we did.
So to get back to that, they're both in the movie SWAT, and I loved them both. And then, oh God, what other Josh Charles movies are out there? He's like randomly appearing and stuff. And
Would you like me to click on it?
Yeah. No. That's okay. Because why would I do that? Why would I care if I'm just going to watch on a loop?
Yes,
Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead.
that is a good point.
So there's my Josh Charles, timeline. But I also am a sucker for guys cleaning up and getting it together. So when Kenny comes in with his clean haircut, it was my childhood really loving the scene where Steve the pirate from Dodgeball comes out with the haircut, and I'm like, oh my God, he was good looking before, but now he's all not piratey, and then he became a pirate again, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, I like that better, but now he's got clean hair and he's a pirate, so I'm good.
Oh my God.
I love Alan Tudyk so much.
It's funny. I'm having you talking about this, I'm having so many feels. So one is how much I love that movie and how much I loved that he found his passion in cooking, which I love cooking and food. And I could talk about that more. In fact, Sean was teasing me the other day. He's like, you should actually just have a podcast where you talk about food. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I know. I don't know how I ended up with a movie podcast, but
You're welcome.
Yeah, totally. It's Diana. So, and also I'm like, oh my God, you were I really, really sometimes I start to envy your like early teen self because you were clearly so much less angsty and you had so much more fun than I did.
Okay. When I'm talking about movies and my happy place, absolutely. If you want to talk about my life in general,
no, okay. But you had a happy place. I really envy your movie happy place.
You see me.
I got so much movie shame when I was a child.
You see me in a cab, and you see how antsy I get when we're going up the hills.
Yeah, they are really extreme hills. I just want to say.
You want to talk about me and angsty? You want to know why I'm not as angsty as I usually be? Because I plan like crazy.
Yeah,
I'm going to be
true.
Here,
she does.
And this takes this long, and this is going to go here. No, the angst is behind the curtain.
But that's how you handle your anxiety, right?
No, that's how I try.
Yeah,
to handle
that's one of your coping mechanisms. I don't think it's ever.
So two more layers of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So there's that. There was
layer number 1, planning.
No. So no, Josh Charles, layer number 1. Keith Coogan, layer number 2. Kenny with the haircut. Layer number 3, in my actual age bracket at the time, is the middle brother.
Oh my God.
Because he was very like young Leonardo DiCaprio-esque.
He was so sweet.
And just calling Cynthia his moon goddess.
Oh my God, his moon goddess. And like the way he tried to kiss her, it was the sweetest thing. And it makes me so sad. Like I know you're supposed to hate the babysitter, but man, first off, she's sex shaming the girl.
Yeah.
Who's like, it's the most innocent, sweet kiss, like first kiss. I'm going to assume it's first kiss because that's where I went in my head. Mm-hmm. Most innocent, perfect, sweet first kiss any girl could ever hope for. And I just wanted that so much for the moon goddess because she just was so adorable. And he was so in love with her in that, 11. I think they're 11.
I have no idea.
Something. Yeah. They're young. And then the babysitter comes and she's like, young men need to go to bed. And then she turns to the little girl and they're just sitting there in the car, not moving. The car's not moving, looking up at the sky and the moon roof. And he's about to kiss her. And the babysitter goes, and for young trollops.
Yep.
To go home. And it's so tragic. And then she goes off down this country lane. I still have no idea where they live.
Where did she go?
Where did she go? Why is she walking down the street by herself?
She ran into the cornfield. And
I will
was
say
never
that.
Seen again.
Yes, exactly. Well, you do because maybe that's what he bought the diamond for, to try to lure her back. So I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know.
Anyway,
but two things that I noticed when I was older.
Really upset me.
Not only was it really cool to see, one, the transformation of Kenneth. It's Kenneth now. Mm-hmm. And the girl that he, one of Sue Ellen's friends, Nicole was there, and she's just like, hey, go out with me. She's like, no. And then by the end, when she sees like cooking and cleaning, he's like, oh, hey, how's it going? And then back to what he was doing. He's got a date with her, which is really cool. And then what was, kind of strange is that when
competency is sexy.
the middle, God, yes, it is.
It really is.
It really is.
It really is.
Being focused and not,
And the cooking. Cooking is like pretty nice.
You know what else is sexy?
What?
Not desperation.
Not desperation is very sexy.
Very sexy.
Yeah.
So there was that, and then Zach, the middle brother. Zach. Oh, Cynthia dumped me, and then all of a sudden this oh, Kenny, can I get more of this stuff? He's like, oh, I'll get that for you.
Yeah.
I'm Mater D, and I'm just like, yeah, you rebound like crazy. Forget that. What was it? Trollop.
Forget the trollop.
Harlot. Whatever.
Trollop.
Yeah.
If harlot, I would have started screaming.
Oh, I don't even know what that means. Did I just accidentally give us an E rating in the
I don't
1920s?
think so. Yeah, I think 1919 pre-code.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's be perfectly honest here. When did they fall in love, Sue Ellen and Brian? This is to my, I'm gonna be generous here, to my 11-year-old watching this on TNT on repeat self. It's just like, oh my God, they're just so great and they're gonna be together and it's wonderful. But looking at this now, I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be a really nice time for them to be together, but they're not gonna last.
I'm with you.
What's gonna happen is
So wait, when did they fall in love?
When did they fall in love?
Answer that first question.
So I think they didn't fall in love. I think he decided that he wanted to pursue this. So this is more like, when did they become exclusive? I don't think they're in love with each other.
No.
Very easily. They really, really like each other and they really want to keep going with this. When did they become exclusive? Probably when he was at the office. So Brian comes to Carolyn and Sue Ellen's office and he's just like, I just don't get it. There's probably this other guy. He needs to stop being obsessed with this whole other guy thing.
I know.
His insecurity is through the roof. Not sexy.
No.
Even in the clown.
But he's
dog,
he's whatever age he is. Let's guess 19.
Yeah. So he's angsty and he's running through there. I'm thinking that's when he wanted to be exclusive. That's when he wanted to that's teenage love right there. So I think when he decided to come to his sister and actually open up to her about that. So, and her thing was just like, forget about her. I'm like, yeah, that's actually big hint number 2 that, what's going to happen in the future. And with Sue Ellen, I think she's very just focused and this is fun for her. So the whole exclusive thing, I think from, she's not in love with him, not even at the end of the movie, but she really, really cares about him. And there's no definitive moment there.
Well, I mean, to be honest, she's got a lot going on.
A lot.
She's trying to do a lot and it's only 3 months and they basically work together for 2 days.
Right.
Some negligible amount.
And I think it's great that she called him when.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
when they were stuck, their car got stolen. Actually, the dead babysitter's car that they were using after the babysitter was dead got stolen
by drag queens.
I wasn't sure. I see that
don't know.
I don't know why.
Don't know why.
Why did Liza Minnelli steal their car?
I don't know why. That was just a random moment. That was kind of rompy.
It's
it's
like reminder, we are in LA.
We think.
I guess.
They drove a really long time to get there.
They actually, it is in Los Angeles because that's where her driver's license.
No, definitely.
Yeah,
and they mention Los Angeles weather. They mention there's.
And if we're going to talk about problematic pieces of it, it wasn't as horrific as I thought it would be. But when he was sitting there, he's just like, is it, when Brian was talking to her after the whole big reveal happens, he's just like, is that it? That's all your secrets? You're not really a guy, are you? And I'm like, who wrote that? So,
well, the drag queens, the
drag queens wrote it
earlier.
There's some guy, patting himself on the back.
Yeah.
I did my contributions.
There we go.
It's going to be hilarious.
I agree with you.
I'm sorry. If we're talking about problematic elements, how did I completely tune out the fact the guy in the office having sex with the woman and sex with Rose? What is his name? Gus.
Oh my God, he is so
the disgusting
gross.
Piece of crap guy.
Oh my God,
because you know what?
Yeah, Gus Gus Brandon.
Doesn't matter. Here's the deal with him, and this is what I managed. He was just a conflict. He was a Carolyn in the whole scenario.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that I tuned it out as much as I did, because that's a real problem. And it's a real problem that I've never had to experience. And in fact, when I was younger, I thought like, well, I'm not pretty, so that's not going to happen to me, so I'm okay. Yeah. So what I really focused on in this movie is people, this is like life advice number 3 in this podcast. People, get a mentor who really wants to help you. Like, not just the whole like, oh, you have an internship and you need to fulfill this, I will fulfill this for you. Rose was amazing. And I'm kind of concerned that she put that much into Sue Ellen because like, oh, you're a Vassar girl and this, that, and this is that. Well, but connections are connections, and you just, you see potential and you see all this other stuff. And then when you see somebody thrive, although granted, Sue Ellen was kind of faking that thriving, but she did actually thrive. She learned a lot. And she was
good at dealing with staff, they said.
I was about to say, she did have her strengths.
Yeah, like she really took, I mean, she had a good attitude toward her job. She wanted to do well.
Right.
And I think that was the learning moment for her. And I do think like Rose was a good boss. She saw that, like when she handed her all the stuff, instead of being like, you'll figure it out or whatever, she goes, don't be over. She's like, she saw that she was overwhelmed. And she said, I'm overwhelmed. Like, you're overwhelmed. Don't be overwhelmed. You just do one thing at a time. And at one point Rose sees like that she's got too much on her plate, and she's thinking, how is she going to do this? But she gives her the space to work these things out. And she praises her for delegating. She praises her. She doesn't steal her ideas. She encourages her. She shares her success. She makes her feel a part of the success of the company.
Right.
And so I feel like Rose is like a really, really good boss. For a movie like this.
How about this? She definitely brings her under her wing, and she helps her out, and she wants to see her succeed. And I think that's an amazing quality in a boss. One of the things that I think isn't so great is the whole like, yeah, Gus and I have this thing, and we're doing this stuff.
Oh my God, that was way
too much too fast.
Too much too fast. Too much intimacy.
Yeah.
And Gus is so. Oh, I had such a hard time watching it. It's so disgusting that way that he said. So if you're going to watch this right now and you are, you've been processing the kind of the Me Too moments of your own life, I would say fast forward through these parts of it. Even though actually she handles them, Sue Ellen handles them well.
Really, really well.
Like pretty mature. Like she doesn't just shrink back, which is what I've always done in that situation.
That's something that absolutely amazed me, is that she has to step up to pretend that she is older and wise and can do all these things in a moment. So the fact that this guy is coming at her, I'm just like, good for you. But this guy is just terrifying.
Oh, well, and he does this thing of like, oh, if you wanted it, then let's go for it. And if not, I was just joking. Like that was the most gross part of it, is that he always gave himself this little out. And also not understanding why, like going out, even if she wanted to, going out with your boss's boyfriend is like just a non-starter. That is life advice number 4.
Well, that and the whole like, we're celebrating, celebrating that you went out to lunch with me.
Yes.
Have some alcohol. Ew. Gross.
Yeah. Okay, so back to
also life advice from Rose. Every woman over 25 needs cucumbers in her house. And
I don't even know where to go with this.
Well, here's.
I think I know where to go with it, but I don't know where.
Well, that's just it. I'm like, as I'm older, I'm just like, okay. But no, actually, what's really funny is that you see.
For puffy eyes.
No, and that's funny because I learned how to do the cucumber thing from this movie.
Oh, really?
And I had actually done it recently, and because I learned from there. Well, this is how Christina Applegate did it. I got seeds in my eyes. That was not relaxing.
Oh,
not relaxing. So
English cucumbers. Life advice number 5.
Yeah, don't
use English cucumbers.
Yeah, I was really.
They're
weird.
seedless.
No love, but Swell is she's just doing it. as taking it as it goes. And I think she just decides, yes, at the end of the movie, it's just like, yes, I'm sorry. I really want to be in this relationship with you, but at the same time, I got stuff that I need to take care of as well, like with my mom. In fact, he was last. She had to take care of the kids. She took care of her mom. She talked to Rose, and Brian was last. And it's kind of a really good.
That's really refreshing.
Yeah, it was really nice to kind of view that. It's just like I'm getting my apologies in there, because let's be honest, of all the people that I've lied to, I think he's like lowest on the totem
the
pole.
least important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to deal with Rose because she
this is her
committed
career
to me. Yeah, and also that she took me under her wing and saw something in me, saw something in.
Yeah.
This is swell talking now. That she needs to deal with Rose because Rose saw something in her, and so now she has a responsibility to that,
right?
And she has a responsibility to finally be really, really honest with her.
Yeah,
and she's smart enough to know, like, I need to keep this mentor in my life.
Yeah,
and they go and they go out to dinner, and
not just because that she's going to provide, I can pull some strings, get into Vassar, or you can have a job here whenever you want. There's so much to learn from Rose, because she thought it was just fashion industry and this, that, and the other, but she's smart enough to know that maybe she should take some classes. Yeah. I mean, also when your parents are offering to send you to college,
you take it.
You take it.
Life advice number 6.
Well, it also, she saw Brian's thing. Like, you think my parents are going to do that, and now I'm trying to pay for it myself. So
yeah,
she learned a little bit from them, and also mom. She handled mom and the whole family thing first, because that was the immediate number one. Rose,
because
number
that's
2.
the most important thing.
Well, in that scenario, mom was going to beat her ass.
But also, like, I mean, her siblings really pulled through for her in like amazing ways. They really, really committed to doing this. And
well, also there was the minor threat thing of just like, no, you have all messed this up. Yeah. So we all need to, you're all complicit in this. Yeah. So, all right. So relationship wise, it's like really a non-starter, but that's what teenage relationships are.
Yeah, they're practice.
Well, definitely commenting on as someone who married their their college, and also relationships, that there's so much to learn from them. Yeah. And so I can't just look at this tiny window and say, this is what's, this is the big thing, and it's all you're going to learn. And so therefore it's very important, those
I think
relationships.
Also, I mean, I think I've said this before, and this is something Dan Savage says, obviously, is like the length. I really do feel like the length of a relationship is not really it's not the only indicator of its success. Right. And
because a marriage either ends in divorce or death.
Death, yes.
Yeah. So
but also just because I think you can have a really successful short relationship that can be satisfying and also, have some growth to it. But so I think that Brian and see, I committed to trying, that Brian and Swell, I think that when I agree with you. I don't know if they fell in love, but when they really bonded, I think they obviously were attracted to each other, but I think when they really bonded is that they're both in the same place in their lives, which is that it's, and I actually I thought that was such a good scene when they were under the boardwalk and they were talking about how everything they chose was so scary because you don't know, like once you choose this stuff, that means that's who you are, and that's how you feel as a teenager. You don't think, oh, I'm going to have a well-rounded life, or I'm going to have 5 different careers in my life.
What I study in college equal my job, equal my life, equal my future.
Yeah. And it's so scary. You see your parents, you see them being harried and you see them being stressed. You're like, wow, my job, I don't want my life to be this small. I totally agree with you. I think that, I think they're going to, I think this is another one of those, they're going to remain, this is going to be a sweet time in their lives. And they're going to get subsumed in their individual lives. Probably, maybe not the first semester of college, because they are both going to college in Los Angeles, but they're going to, eventually drift apart, but they're always going to be friends, I think. Maybe not always forever, but certainly through college. And they just have a really sweet connection, and they can be really honest with each other. And I think that it's going to be helpful for them to get through this next time, because Swell, I mean, in a real way, the romance of this movie, I think, is more about like the real story, which just surprised me because I had no idea this was going to happen. Is the real story is basically Swell and her relationship with herself, and seeing herself as more capable, and also at that her self-conception of like she just like the party girl who wants to sit on the beach is that's not genuinely what's making you happy. And I think that's like a big theme at that age, that you're trying to figure out what there's all the ideas that you either get from yourself, from media, from your parents, from your teachers, about who you're going to be and how you're going to succeed and what that takes, and what are your strengths. And they're not always accurate. And so this is the first time that she's really seen this side of her, as has Kenneth, of that they're, competent, successful people who actually care about work and not just about having fun or sloth.
And the views of their friends being the one, the partying, or they get to do this, and the going to Europe, they're actually getting to view not so much what they get to do, but now what they can do for themselves. Yeah. And I think that's a big thing. Yeah,
that's actually the big.
But I also want to point out, based on the whole future aspect of it, this is a growing experience for him. That's great. But I don't think that this is the growing experience that's going to be the defining moment. And then it's just, they grow from, they just go from there, from that experience. So in the future, you say they're going to be friends, Brian and Suelle.
I think they're going to date for about 6 months.
I think they're going to date for a little while. But I think what's going to happen is that they're going to go to separate colleges, and they are going to break up. And there's going to be not so much... It's going to be like 10 years down the road, they won't speak. They'll just be things, because she'll be doing her thing and he'll be doing his thing, and they might run into each other and like, oh my God, hi, and then it's just going to go off. And as much as
you think there's going to be a reunion?
No, I don't think it's going to be a reunion. I think it's like, oh my God, hi, how are you? Yeah, we should totally do this and that. Yeah, that would be great. And then just it doesn't happen. It's going to be like that. And as much as I love the love stories, and I want the love stories to be forever, and I have to stop pretending that it's just like they're all going to be like this, and they're going to stay together, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do that, and they're going to live forever and be happy. I think what's going to happen is he's going to go on, he's going to try to work his way through college, and he's going to study something. I don't know what it is yet.
Do you think he's going to stick with the
oceanography? I think he might study it a little bit, but as he's studying, he's going to find something else that's going to interest him a little bit more, because the things that you're interested in, like I wanted to be film minor. I was going to be a psychology major and a film minor, and that didn't happen. But it just amazing in that, span of time when you're in college, how much that changes.
Totally. I mean, that's the whole point.
Even like 5 years after college, what I wanted versus, 10 years after college. And, here I am now, more years after college. And it's different, but I'm really okay with it. Yeah. And there's people that I was really close to back then, or they're pivotal in my life, and I don't speak to them anymore. And we may or may not be friends on Facebook. Yeah. And
even if we are, I don't know.
It's kind of irrelevant.
Not the same thing.
It's like, oh, cool, you have a blank.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, or like, oh, what a nice vacation you took.
Like, look fondly, but I don't think they're going to look too often, because she's going to be moving forward with trying to do her best, because she's got a good head on her shoulders, and she's going to create a good support system with her career mentor and her family. And then he's just going to have a really snarky sister that he's still going to love. I think that's also going to be part of the catalyst of their breakup as well, is that Carolyn's still going to be there and still bitter about things, and it's just going to be like a shadow. It's not going to be the reason, but it's also going to be another good reason to say, like, I think we've run our course.
Interesting. Really?
I think so.
I mean, she's no longer working with her. She has no reason to be bitter.
Carolyn's bitter about lots of
That's
things.
true. Carolyn's very bitter about
and she's
life.
just going to be like, meh, 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 meh,
Oh,
meh.
she thinks she's going to like sort of sprinkle some poison on that.
No, not even that. Just Carolyn. I have potential. I see potential in Carolyn growing up and just getting the chip off of her shoulder, because I did. And I want to speak highly of things. Like, again, I was Carolyn. I'm very, very angry about things. But again, it was all the monologue was in my head.
Yes.
I didn't say these things out loud.
Yeah.
Although I do have resting bitch face, so some people might think, "Oh, honey, what's wrong? Something's wrong now. Why are you talking to me like that? Don't ask me what's wrong. Never tell me to smile. Don't never
God,
tell."
I hate it when people tell me to smile.
So that's
So I don't
it.
blame her for quitting, because that's kind of what happened. Is
Oh, it's a shame.
the
So
first job.
yeah. So that's it. That's the future. That's the story of Sue Ellen Bryan.
Do you think she's going to get... I have one more quick question. Do you think that Sue Ellen is going to stay with fashion?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
she's going to what her interest is and what she can excel at. I think she's going to figure it out as it goes along.
Yeah.
And she's going to find her strength in maybe her ability to work with people. Maybe not in the fashion industry, but she's so good with the people.
She's so good with people.
on the creation.
But she's
side.
very respectful
Yeah.
of
And she's
the
also, and she was able to take a hold of a meeting and let everyone know we're going to be pulling another all-nighter, but they weren't happy about it, but she just kept going.
Yep.
She's going to find a strength that's something else.
I think she is going to stay in fashion.
Yeah. And
I think she's not going to do uniforms, but I think she's going to.
Yeah.
So that's my theory. Okay.
the end.
The end.
Yeah.
So I have to say, when I first saw this movie, like the first, I would say, first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, God. All right. But.
And then the death happened.
And then then death occurred. And I loved it. And I mean, I didn't love it. I don't want to say I loved it.
You enjoyed it?
I enjoed it. I had fun.
Awesome.
It was a romp. I had fun. And
Awesome.
actually, even rewatching it, which I do try to do.
It's not a good movie. You're fine if
Yeah.
you didn't enjoy it. What the hell, Polina? This is my childhood.
It's just your childhood. It's
You're
fine.
totally judging me.
I'm just judging your childhood. If it makes you feel any better, I was judged by all the movies I liked as a child. So
I can't
that's
wait to
fine.
judge you.
Ugh, I
Some
know.
more.
Well,
Here's a question. Here's a
Yeah.
question. Are you going to throw me another Oscar-nominated, Oscar-winning
no,
Room with a
I
View?
am not. I am not. I am not putting you through that again.
What did you through that? That was really, really good.
I'm so glad.
I'm also being like really, really coy right now because I know what
Yeah.
you actually picked.
I know, and
I
it's
feel bad if this
not
was-
one of those things.
Hang on, this might have been Oscar nominated. Keep talking. Let him know.
Oh God, maybe for like best song. So I would like to subject Diana to Purple Rain. But sadly, someone got there first. But you'll have to wait till next week or next episode rather to hear about it. I want to see Purple Rain, which was a big movie. I was a huge Prince fan when I was 13.
This is an Oscar-winning movie.
Oh my God, is it?
Of course it is.
What is it?
Best
What-
music, original song score.
Oh.
Prince. I was about to say, I always swear Prince has an Oscar.
I think he has an Oscar.
No, he does. He definitely does.
Yep.
Looking
Yep.
at it right now.
Oh my God. Okay, so I am.
Why do I get the feeling this isn't going to feel like a Room with a View or broadcast news caliber of Oscar-nominated winning performances?
It's not going to.
Do you want to watch 8 Mile instead? Same thing.
No, I'm not watching 8 Mile. I've committed to watching Purple Rain because this comes every now and again. It's like it's a random Tuesday, and I'm like, why am I not picking Purple Rain? Every time I'm out somewhere or at home and a Prince song comes on, I think Purple Rain. We need to do Purple Rain.
What about Hustle and Flow?
Purple Rain.
Okay.
You can't escape it.
No,
you
I'm not
try.
trying to escape it. I'm just trying to point out other Oscar-winning movies that, where the music was bigger than the story,
bigger than yes.
I assume.
So yeah, Purple Rain.
Thank you so much for coming back and listening to us
Yes.
again. So we are on Twitter at HEAMCast. We're on Facebook at Happily Ever Aftermath. Shout out to the Lady Pod Squad, this wonderful group of people.
It's so good.
It's so nice.
Such amazing people, and
Part of that whole group thing that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, and they definitely have helped us figure out how to do this, but also connected me certainly to great podcasts that I wouldn't have listened to otherwise, and you keep being on. great podcasts that I wouldn't have listened to otherwise.
So I mentioned before that I was on the Die Hard episode of Amanda's Picture Show, A Go Go. That's up now. Upcoming, because we are in award season, I'm on the show again, and we're talking about the Critics' Choice Awards. And it was so much fun talking about
wait to
it.
hear this.
Because Amanda is great at the Oscar picks and all of the, you know, award shows, and she tries to see every single one of them before the Oscars come out. And I'm like, hang on a second, keep talking, that way I can sound really smart when you talk about this, and then I can just chime in with my random factoid about a character actor.
It's true. You have a lot of random factoids about cat character actors, which I love.
I stick to my strengths.
Yeah, which is life lesson number 8. I think we're at 8. Maybe 7.
I'm not counting. All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
I will see you next time.
Yeah, take care.
Purple rain.
We don't have the rights for that. Stop.
Bye.